Hardy is literally trying to drive his career in a different direction. You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of Locke.
No matter what the situation is, you can make it good.
This is a joke to you.
No. Right now, nothing is a joke anymore. You make one little mistake. Eventually, cracks appear.
I'm not believing it.
I was 23 years old. Cracks appear.
Listen to me, you piece of worthless shit. Don't threaten me!
Then they will grow.
When Tom Hardy started to make it big, he was right where he wanted to be. Starring in Bronson for Nicholas Winding Refn, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy for Thomas Alfredson, and even Warrior for Gavin O'Connor. Smart, challenging roles under smart, challenging directors. And on top of all that, he'd even caught the eye of Christopher Nolan, resulting in a small role in Inception, but he would then follow in the footsteps of Heath Ledger to play the villain Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. For a moment, everything seemed to be perfect, and Hardy seemed to be on the cusp of becoming something new in Hollywood, a serious actor with mainstream success, Daniel Day-Lewis crossed with Mel Gibson. But Hardy should have realized that maybe such an actor doesn't exist in Hollywood for a reason. Tinseltown couldn't quite wrap their head around Hardy's vision, instead seeing him strictly as a sexy leading man who belonged in films like This Means War. Then, lo and behold, he failed to make a lasting impression as Bane. Audiences took issue with the nature of his on-screen demise, and some couldn't even understand him. To make matters worse, his work in Lawless for John Hillcoat went largely unnoticed. Plus, while he'd spent a good deal of the year, 2012, filming Mad Max Fury Road, where he would literally be taking over for Mel Gibson, it was announced the film would not be released until 2015. Meanwhile, he lost Refn to another pretty boy determined to be taken seriously, Ryan Gosling, who kind of fell off Hollywood's radar himself. But while Gosling retreats behind the camera for his directorial debut, Hardy is looking to find another director to align himself with. After all, the right team-up between an actor and a director can make both careers. So he's got The Drop, the first Hollywood film for Belgium's Michael R. Roskam, Child 44, the second Hollywood film for Sweden's Daniel Espinosa, whose first Hollywood film, Safe House, was a very solid hit. Plus, he just signed on to LA Confidential writer and 42 director Brian Helgeland's Legend, where he'll play both Ronnie and Reggie Cray, the twin gangsters who ruled London's East End in the 1950s and 60s. But first, of course, there's Locke for Stephen Knight, the writer behind Dirty Pretty Things and Eastern Promises. The entire film takes place within a single car with a single occupant, Hardy's Ivan Locke. It's the kind of acting showcase usually reserved for acting legends towards the end of their careers, when getting to see a master at work is the only selling point needed. Is Hardy ahead of the curve, or is his distorted and incorrect perception of himself and his career his biggest problem? Tom Hardy really is a talented actor. That is undeniable. I think a lot of us knew it going in, but he really reminds you of it here. This is an acting tour de force. But I have to say, during the entire film, I just couldn't really get into it because he's miscast. He is the wrong age for this role. This is a problem I've had several times with Leonardo DiCaprio as well, and he has this problem for a different reason. He looks much younger than his actual age when it comes to DiCaprio. Tom Hardy doesn't have that problem. But you know, you see these actors taking on these roles that are beyond them in terms of age. With DiCaprio, it's Revolutionary Road and Inception. The whole time in Inception, DiCaprio is going, I gotta get out of this business. I have to stop doing this. And I kept thinking, you just started, right? You look like you just started. And with Hardy here, you know, he's supposed to be playing a family man with pretty grown children. And I'm sure that, you know, of course, people get married very young. They have children very young. But it seemed like the role for someone about, I'd say, 10 years older than Hardy. When this happens, when Hardy and DiCaprio make movies like this, it really gives you the feel of an actor doing like a monologue they've chosen. And often, you know, actors are asked to choose audition pieces, and they have their standard audition piece, and they prepare a monologue, and they often pick one that isn't age appropriate, but that they should feel can show off their acting skills. You should pick an age appropriate monologue, by the way, if you're going to have it be your audition piece, because at the same time, your casting director will think you're the wrong age for this role. And I feel it's a similar problem here, and it belies someone who I think, as I said in the opening, doesn't really understand where they are at their career or what they have to offer as an actor personally, because they're more concerned with being an actor for the ages before they just become a working actor. And so I really do feel that Tom Hardy, to some degree, is his biggest obstacle, because he wants to be Michael Caine, Peter O'Toole at the end of their careers rather than at the beginning. As for the film itself, it is an interesting character study. It's also, it's surprisingly well done. You would think, like 90 minutes or 80 minutes in a car with just one guy. One's basically just talking on the speakerphone in his car, driving at night, so there's not even any scenery to distract you. He doesn't make any stops. I mean, you are literally just in this car for the whole time. It's very much like a play, very theatrical. And you would think that would be hard to pull off. But I think largely they do pull it off. It's well written, it keeps you engaged. And I think it's because they do a good job of drawing out the story, but not to a point where it becomes, like, hurry up, tell me what's going on here. But they have certain things are revealed, and I think it is a good story to remind people of the consequences of their actions. I don't want to give any spoilers, but Locke is someone who wants to try and fix the world and feels he can make things better, and he can, because he's a construction foreman, so he feels he can rebuild the world. And I think that's exactly what ends up getting him in trouble, as you'll see if you watch the film. There isn't much to talk to in terms of, to speak to in terms of the directing, because again, it's mostly, Stephen Knight does as much as he can with the space and the location, but it really is this is just an acting showcase for Tom Hardy. And it reminds me of also one of those, it's very theatrical, as I said, so like one of those plays where, again, watch this master actor at work, so we're not going to bother building a set or really a lighting design, and it's just purely see how good an actor Tom Hardy is. And again, he's good, but I really do feel this is a role for an older actor, and it's really an exercise for Tom Hardy. So if you would like to sit in on his acting exercise, I think that you will enjoy Locke. I was talking about this with someone the other day, actually, Matt Colby, the DP, co-editor on this show, and he said, the people who are going to watch the show are Tom Hardy fans, people who are cycling through probably Netflix later on or at the theater wondering what to watch. The only people who are going to say, let's see Locke, are the ones who want to see Tom Hardy act. So I think he'll please his fan base, but again, he's just too inside his own head, he's too self-involved, and he really needs to break out and literally play with others. So that's my review of Locke. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll check out some more episodes right now.